Yeah, I told you we gon' take you to the top. Can't believe that me still want the boy to flop.
To the top. It's your boy Underdog Crypto, aka Jay, here with another cryptocurrency video. You see the name up there, folks. The name of this project is Porn Rocket. Now, I won't keep saying the name a lot because I don't want you to get the wrong idea about what the content of this video is. I have to respect the fact that there are individual investors who may make decisions about the type of projects they invest in based on what the industry is in. Also, what that industry is about. I have no problem with that. However, as a researcher and a scientist, it is not up to me to provide you that type of advice on what you should or shouldn't do. We all, as individual investors, have to make sure that we invest in projects that we believe in and also that we believe will generate some type of income or wealth for us. Now, with that being said, for me, it would be the equivalent of turning a blind eye to science and acting as if you can't research something based on the popularity of that topic. Whether it's medicine that's taking care of diseases, or it is a cryptocurrency project in an industry that may not be considered the best of industries, that is a personal decision. My job is to review the cryptocurrency projects, to look at the information, to provide the best research possible to you as the viewers, and allow you to make that decision for yourself. The ownership is on you. I will be respectful throughout this video, only discussing this from a research, scientific, educational standpoint. So with that being said, if this is what you want to watch, I advise you to review this video on this cryptocurrency project. Now, without further ado, let me tell you something that you may not know. Every year, companies that invest in also the politics of their countries that they are in. What I mean by that is you can go to this website called followthemoney.org and it will show you state by state how companies will donate to a particular political campaign depending on the politics that is in their favor. The reason that's important, unless you yourself as an individual investor are taking the time to look at every company you research, such as Walmart, Apple, and other companies, many of us have no idea that people contribute to their political ideas and that may not be in the favor of your own personal ideas. It could be against what you believe in. Keep that same energy when you review this project, and that helps you to clarify it. From this moment forward, make sure that you take your time to look at the projects and really decide if you are investing based on your principles, or do you know the principles of the other companies that you invest in? This one is obvious. It's the adult industry. With that being said, let's get to this video and let me give you my disclaimer. Your boy Underdog Crypto is not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. It's for your information purposes only. But if you so educate yourself and blow up your bank account, then you are welcome. For those who don't know me, and this might be the first time seeing me, let me introduce myself to you. Your boy Underdog Crypto is a certified digital currency investigator, certified as a fraud examiner, certified in over 10 professional board certifications in cyber investigations and forensics. I hold a master's in digital forensics. I'm a digital forensic scientist currently pursuing my PhD in innovation and technology management with a specialization in information systems. And I take my time to research each and every project using digital forensics, cyber investigations, and fraud detection techniques in order to provide you the best information possible to help change your life in this space. And what is the project we're talking about today? Well, folks, it's no other than the project that you see here. Now, let's talk about this project. At the time in which I did this video, on 7/25/2021, The current project was trading at .0.00000007757. That's 7 zeros. It was ranked number 2,793 on CoinMarketCap, and there are currently 39,050 people watching this project. The all-time high on June 7th, 2021, they lost an entire zero and only had 6 zeros and traded at 2.5. Now, currently, at the time in which this video is being held, that there are 67,388 addresses, which we assume that 67,388 holders of this particular token. Now, this project is using blockchain in the industry of adult media. Now, we're going to go through this and talk a little about that. The application of this project is going to be utilized as the primary currency, if you will, for the app called NSFW, not suitable for work. This is going to be an application that is not completed at this time, but when it is completed, it will allow adult content to be stored. Why are people using this application? It's built on the blockchain. The creators of content have 0% creators fees. There's content protection, meaning creators and their fans want to have safety and security about what they are uploading and also what they're viewing, and that is provided. And there's user privacy. This is a hybrid model, and it's decentralized blockchain, and it's a technical solution combined with institutional safeguards. This helps them to guarantee copyrights for creators, data safety for users, compliance with regulatory requirements. Now, their goal is to revolutionize how content is marketed and consumed in line with the ongoing disruptive innovation of retail banking, film streaming, and hospitality sector. Now, this is the adult industry. So you understand the type of content it is. Why people are choosing this, I want you to make sure you pay attention to the regulation aspects, but this gives the sensitivity of the nature of the content, and it provides it a decentralized way to protect it. Those institutional safeguards. Now, I'm going to be talking about this throughout the video, but I want you to keep that in mind. Regulation, privacy, while adhering to institutional safeguards. And we're going to go into those legalities and such. But before we do that, I want to walk through this project. I also need to tell you that this project had discrepancies, and I'm going to go through those discrepancies that you need to be aware of. If you're pressed for time, look in the time-coded video below, and you'll be able to step through this project and see everything you need to see about this project before you decide to either invest or look further into this project. There's partnerships with this particular project. Here's some of the partnerships. There's Television X, SafeX, and there's these other partnerships, and these partnerships all, and their all rights, have made hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in this industry. Combined, they've made multiple millions of dollars, and these are the partners with this particular blockchain. What is the progress so far? This project is a blockchain-based ecosystem disrupting the adult entertainment industry globally. The project envisions zero-fee copyright protection for creators of content, along with safety and anonymity for users. In under 2 months, this is what they've done. They've launched the application of the actual project, so you have it on a blockchain. They have acquired a thing called Intimate.io, which I'll discuss later. They've brought on different people in the development team. 40 major actresses and actors of the industry have signed on, and they have signed major agencies. Now, right now, their market cap is around $109 million at their all-time high. They have 65,000 holders. They're listed on 4 major exchanges. They've had over 240,000 transactions, over 100 publications, and they currently have 20 members on their team. Now, this acquisition of Intimate.io is quite big. This is an adult content platform, and what they do is a part of this acquisition in just a few weeks. This is going to be the payment system. Intimate.io facilitates payments and trust in a multi-billion-dollar industry, making it safer and more secure for everyone. It provides an open, distributed trust mechanism for managing payments and reputation across all segments of the industry. Now, Intimate.io has already been in this space, already doing this, and they are now adding this particular crypto chain project of Porn Rocket in order for them to be able to go further. What this says about Intimate.io is that it provides these payments and privacy and reputation across the industry so that users can make it easy to utilize this particular application, but also already established on the open web. Now, recently, as July 19th, they posted that they are ready to launch NSFW. Now, this application is going to hold the content on mobile devices, and you'll be able to see this content. Their culture is for the globe, is no matter who you are, where you come from, what you look like, you can enjoy their entertainment provided by their favorite creators in this space. Now, I'm going to talk about the white paper. This is going to get into the technical aspects of this project. If you want to wrap this up without going further, then let me wrap it up by saying this. This project, to me, looks like it has some great potential. But from what I found in the research, there are some medium to major issues that are going to affect this project's success, both from a technical aspect and also a sentiment aspect because of the industry it's in. If you're looking into this project, you need to consider those factors that I'm going to discuss later on in this particular video to help you discover if this project meets your criteria for your investments. So if you want to watch more, then I urge you to please go down, look through the time-coded video, and click on the sections that you find of interest, or do like I do, watch every bit of this video. All right, so let's get to the white paper of this project. In the white paper for NSFW, this is going to go over the project in depth. What they have done so far that is important to know is Ruben Copa. They've acquired this individual. He is an entrepreneur with over 10 years of experience leading technology startups, in 8 years in blockchain and 5 years in the adult based out of Sydney, London, and Toronto. He co-founded ABA Technology and rolled out a Bitcoin ATM network in Sydney and built maintained blockchain software for consumers. In 2017, he founded and led Intimate.io. Intimate raised $2.4 million in token sales from major purchasers and signed 38 major industry partners. Ruben is leading the team that brings significant experience to this project. Now, here's the white paper. It's a very short white paper, consists of about 7 to 10 pages. And some of the things I'm going to go over. This blockchain project is an ecosystem disrupting the adult entertainment industry, and it aims to become number one in this space. It decentralizes and delivers this content to the consumer for zero fee copyright protection for the creators of content, along with safety and anonymity of the users. Now, why is it unique? Given the sensitive nature of this industry, this project proposes a unique hybrid model of decentralization and technical solution combined with institutional safeguards. Now, that's important. I need you to hold on to that word, institutional safeguards, and copyright protection for creators, data safety for users, and compliance with regulatory requirements. Their goal is to revolutionize the way that adult content is marketed and consumed in line with ongoing disruptive innovation. Now, if you look here, they have a chart at the bottom. They show the amount of coins left in circulation. And currently they have 439 trillion left in circulation. They have burnt over 561 trillion coins. Now, going further, their history, it says this particular industry has existed throughout time, ranging from ancient Macedonians' art depicting certain acts to the Greeks. Some of the major players in this industry include Hammy Media Limited, Larry Flint Publications, MindGeek, Private Media Group, and Pornhub. Now, with Pornhub, with 28.5 billion visitors and over 4 million videos uploaded in 2017 per day, websites like Pornhub have created a whole ecosystem where content producers can interact virtually with consumers through online chats and streaming. MindGeek owns numerous adult film production companies as well. Now, the market size. Today, while difficult to define what considered adult content, the quantity of outlets in the U.S. revenue from adult entertainment is between $9 billion and $96 billion, and that is according to The Guardian in 2018. CNBC estimates that the entire industry in the U.S. is $13 billion, with $3,075 being spent on this industry every second, and a new video being produced every 39 minutes. And their thesis in Portland, that they looked at this and they estimated that $96 billion in 2006 was in this industry. Numerous studies suggest that different motives behind the consumption of this particular type of product. Most notably, studies report that this has to do with boredom and higher levels of psychological distress, and are linked to greater consumption of this type of film. Today, it's estimated that 46 to 74% of men and 16 to 41% of women are active users. It is an annual 2019 review. Pornhub reported that over 39 billion searches and 42 billion visits. 80% of traffic comes from smartphones. This is the challenge with this industry. The adult industry is fragmented. The industry in its current form is unable to sustain the economic viability as a result of increasing regulation, age verification, for example, in the United Kingdom, and reoccurring costs of missed revenue from false negatives around payments arising from the fact that identity validation and risk assessment are carried out by hundreds of companies across the ecosystem. Now, I'm going to talk about that for a moment. So I want you to talk about the safety, the identity validation, and about the hundreds of different people in this space. Now, I want you to imagine with me that we're not living in a world that this doesn't exist. We saw there that over $93 billion worldwide is in this industry. The United States holds over $13 billion itself alone. We see that there's an increased rate of people utilizing this, especially when they have stress. In other ways, they're trying to find a way to get away from that. Whether you agree with it or not, one thing is important is that if it already exists, the regulation is important. The fact that this industry is already existing, we can't just turn our blind eye and say, oh, well, it exists and I don't want it to be there. Since it exists, and we're talking about the legality of its existence, since we're talking about legality versus the non-existence, if it's in existence, it is important to understand that there's no uniform way to process payments, to validate identifications, because of the open source web in which we currently use. Our decentralization of this particular project is going to be big, as it can unify this process, help in those regulations that are being passed, such as identity verification that UK has passed, help in the aspect of being able to control this content better than the current methods. But let's keep going and look further. Some of the main players they mentioned that I want you to keep in mind is MindGeek, revenue 460 million, OnlyFans 390 million. Now, introducing a new era of safety and anonymity. Now, this is what they're doing. Visible and traceable credit card transactions leave users vulnerable. Their vision is the safety and anonymity provided by their ecosystem. Their business is facilitated by state-of-the-art exchange. Users can safely buy their media with fiat through exchanges, offering quick and seamless access to their material. A major drawback of traditional subscription platforms is a lack of privacy. Users will no longer need to keep their files stored on their personal devices, keeping their downloaded material private. This is where the blockchain-based aspect platform truly revolutionizes how content is distributed and stored. Their team is working in this aspect and is cooperating with world-leading legal, compliance, accounting, and consulting firms to map its institutional and corporate strategy. That aspect has to be recognized, and we have to talk about it. This particular industry, this particular token is working with regulations instead of the current methodologies that we have now that are utilized to do illegal content every single day. They're about to launch, and they're in their stages, their application. Now, what this would do in stage one, they had the brand conceptualization of the ecosystem. They made people aware, that's where we're at now, of this particular token. In stage two, they're going to have mass partnerships with actors, influencers, and producers for their growth utility. And they're going to go to stage three, and that's in the fourth quarter. And in the stage three, they have a unique solution through which creators auction off their custom unique NFTs, which we've talked about a lot of these non-fungible tokens, allowing them to earn additional revenues. Now, I want you to take a look at this portion. I won't have you look at it. This is what you probably need to screenshot or look at later on after you review it to see what they're going to do quarter by quarter to help you understand where this project is at this time. Now, you know your boy Underdog Crypto is going to tell you about the good things, but I also must note the bad, the discrepancies, the things that you should be concerned about. This is not typical because oftentimes content creators will only discuss the good. I want you to know when I see something glaring or something that I think is of importance, then I find that I want to share it with you. That is what I do differently than any other content creators. And I want you to understand that. And we're going to do that right now. The CERTIK review. Now, CERTIK, you've heard this before. If you have watched Shiba Inu and you have looked at them and their CERTIK release, CERTIK is an organization that checks out these blockchain projects. It's great that these companies will volunteer to be reviewed by CERTIK because it gives you, as the user, legitimacy to find out good or bad about this project. And I will tell you here that CERTIK found 3 major issues with this project and also some other issues. In total, 15 total issues. And I'm going to discuss not all of them, but the major ones so you're aware of your issue with this project. Now, this was taken on July the 14th, 2021. CERTIK is founded in 2017 by leading academics in the field of computer science from both Yale and Columbia University. CERTIK is a leading blockchain security company that serves to verify the security and correctness of smart chain contracts and blockchain-based protocols. Through the utilization of their world-class technical expertise alongside of proprietary innovative tech, they're able to support the success of their clients with the best-in-class security, all while realizing our overarching vision, provable trust for throughout all facets of the blockchain. So CERTIK is going to review and has completed the review of this project. So what I'm going to show you to what they found that you need to know about. Check this out, folks. This is their table of contents. And as you can see here, there were issues findings, and they noted those findings in the table of contents. The major findings that they had in their appendix is it's going to be grouped. They had centralization privilege, gas optimization, logical issue, control flow, volatile code, coding style, and inconsistencies. I'm only going to talk about the major and a few of the medium issues. Now, circled here in red, there were 15 total issues. And of those 15 issues circled in red on the right, there were 3 major issues, which consisted of 20% of this project. And there was 1 medium issue, which consisted of 6.67% of this project. Now, that is still, in my personal opinion, based on other CERTIK projects that I've seen reviewed, I feel like that is an average or a little bit above average amount of issues. In fact, I'm glad that the application isn't completed, because if it was completed, I would believe that this is not ready for mass production. But I'm only going to provide you what I found, and currently we got about 26.6% of this project that has some major to medium issues, and it needs to be resolved. And let me tell you what they did as a company to resolve it. Now, some of the issues that were found, here's one of the major issues, and it's as follows. This major issue was noted by CERTIK. And in the description, they describe this as follows. The owner of the contract, which is Porn Rocket, has the permission to do the 6 things: change the address that can be received tokens, lock the contract, include addresses from rewards and fees, set tax fee liquidity, enable swap liquidity enabled, and pause and unpause trading without obtaining the consensus of the community. Now, the recommendation they stated to this project to resolve this was to renounce their ownership when it is the right timing, or gradually mitigate this with a time lock plus multi-sig governing procedure, and let the community monitor in respect to transparency considerations. The ownership of this was renounced by the company. So that means that they complied with their recommendations and they fix this problem. This would give them a way to pull the rug, if you will, if they did not resolve it. So this was resolved, but it was a major issue, so you need to be aware of it. This was the second major issue: possible gain ownership after renouncing the contract ownership. This was also stated as a major issue. So to make sure we clarify, the first one was renouncing their ownership so they couldn't do a rug pull. And I'm using rug pull loosely, but I just want you to understand, I'm breaking it down in a way that you understand. There were some 6 things that they could use, and it might not be beneficial to you as a user. And CERTIK found those things. And so they said they resolved it by giving up their ownership. But then they found this. And the second thing was possible to gain ownership after renouncing the contract. So this was by CERTIK. The owner is possible to gain ownership to the contract even if they have a function to renounce their ownership. They advised that updating, removing this function in their coding in the contract, or removing this, it will be a privilege that can retain this protocol level. They recommend using implementation of compound finance as a reference. Now, what did they do in response? The company did this. They looked through the code of this project, and they said they noticed that this lock function was not called by previous owner before ownership was renounced. Therefore, this backdoor may not be exploited on that token. So this was resolved. The third major and last major problem was found to do this. A major risk that they found was the following: mishandling of its private key can have devastating consequences to the project as a whole. We advise to address the Uniswap function call to be replaced by the contract itself, and restrict the management of the tokens within the scope of the contract's business logic. This will protect the tokens from being stolen, is compromised. In general, we strongly recommend centralized privileges or roles of the protocol to be improved via decentralized mechanism or via smart contract based on accounts with enhanced security practices. So they found that the major key that could transfer all these tokens out, if you will, to if it was lost or compromised was a major issue. And this is a response that the company did in regards to this. Team for Porn Rocket, the key used is stored securely in a bank vault. Now, I'll be the first to admit, when I read that, I had to think about it a little bit. CERTIK found this major issue that could be a hugely compromise the totality of the project. And although this key was that could do that is stored in a bank's vault, the thought came to mind to me about the security of that. If somebody could simply use that key, duplicate that key, why wouldn't they just take the form that CERTIK requested and change it to the smart contracts? So for me, based on what I researched, I am very, very uneasy about that aspect. So I think you should make sure you pay attention to this aspect to see if they make any changes. And if you're going to ask questions to this particular company through an Ask Me Anything platform, that is something you need to discuss. Are they going to maintain this key in a bank vault? How many people know about that bank key? Can it be compromised? Is it Bluetooth enabled? I don't know enough about that, and they didn't provide enough information, but I don't know if that is the safest place to hold the keys that could compromise the whole project. Going further, here's a medium issue that was found. This was a contract gains non-withdrawable BNB. So basically what they're saying is that this is BNB that is left over after you purchase the particular token called Porn Rocket, and that this BNB could be utilized to be given back to the users in a more efficient way. They said it's not ideal for more BNB to be locked into a contract over time. The simplest solution is to add a withdrawal function to the contract to withdraw BNB. Other approaches that benefit Porn Rocket token holders can be distribute BNB to the token holders proportional to the amount of token they hold. Use leftover BNB to buy back Porn Rocket tokens on the market to increase the price of Porn Rocket. The team simply acknowledged it. Now, this wasn't a major issue, but I like the way that CERTIK said, hey, look, when people are making these swaps, you got the leftover BNB. Let's call it the crypto dust, if you will. That crypto dust is left over. And instead of that just going away and you losing money, why not collect that and then use that to purchase back more of the token or give it back to users? Now, Nimic did that on theirs. They keep 1%. So if you look at my previous video on Nimic, they did that function. They take 1% of every purchase and they go back to the market, they buy it and they lock it in. This is a way to help elevate the price. Now, that wasn't a major concern, but it was a concern. So I thought that you should know about that, of that project. Now, the sentiment for this industry. Let's talk about that. It's important for me to explain to you that, again, I am very aware of this particular controversial topic, but there's a sentiment that is not just one person, it's many people. And this sentiment is going to be held for and against this industry. I wanted to provide you, as part of the research analysis of this project, the current sentiment about this industry. And I won't go too in depth. This is not one of my war series, my wealth analysis research series. This is just an in-depth analysis of this project from a different perspective that you may not have considered. So take a look at this about the sentiment of this industry. This is the sentiment against this industry. Pornography transformed women into adult toys, wrote feminist activist, journalist, and Women Against Pornography co-founder Susan Brown Miller in 1975. Dehumanize objects to be used and abused, broken, and discarded. Pornography is the theory. Rape is the practice. Former magazine editor Robin Morgan declared in 1977. Pornography, some argued, was a form of terror. Women will know that we are free when pornography no longer exists, wrote Andrea Dworkin, one of the most well-known advocates of anti-porn feminism in 1981. In 1996, legal scholar Catherine McKinnon argued against the idea that pornography was a creative practice entitled under First Amendment protection. While pornography itself was not responsible for sexual assaults against women, wrote McKinnon, men who are made, changed, and impelled by porn were. That was the sentiment against pornography. So let's talk about the sentiment for it. Now, not safe for work, why feminist pornography matters. This is what they read. Since the sex wars, women have become more visible as producers and consumers of pornography, but many debates about working conditions and content remain stuck in the past. How should feminists, both within and outside the industry, engage with pornography today? Now, they're talking about this as the ideology. What they're saying is this. Yet, porn also had defenders, politicians, media figures, and civil libertarians who had historically sought to free sexuality from control by the state. Even more importantly, porn was vigorously defended with feminism. Beginning with a clash between feminists in 1982 Bernard Conference on Sexuality, the struggle came to a head with Dworkin and McKinnon drafted the Anti-Pornography Civil Rights Ordinance at the request of city officials in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Although the ordinance passed, Mayor Donald Fraser refused to sign it, prompting anti-pornography activists to take it to Indianapolis, a city whose mayor supported the legislation. Here, the Feminist Anti-Censorship Task Force, FACT, a coalition of New York academics and culture workers allied with the American Civil Liberties Union. The ACLU successfully challenged the ordinance constitutionally, allowing people who believed they had been harmed by porn to sue for damages. They argued would turn all erotica and sexual materials into a potential legal liability for the seller and result in de facto censorship. In effect, this prevented enactment of the ordinance anywhere in the United States. Defenders of porn within radical feminism did not seek to deny the reality of exploitation and sexual violence. A novelist, Dorothy Allison, a member of FACT, wrote freely about having been subjected to cruel, sexualized beatings and incestuous rape as a child. But feminists who called themselves pro-sex objected to the idea that consuming or making porn was categorically harmful. Journalist Ellen Willis asked in 1979, is there any objective criterion for healthy or satisfying sex? And if so, what is it? In the same vein, others pointed out that the charges against pornography could be made against most erotic art. As former sex worker and lesbian feminist activist Amber Halabu wrote in 1980, she could make a strong argument for a potential violence of Harlequin romances because they're depictions of heterosexual relationships. Gay historians and longtime feminist activist John DiMello saw violence against women on television and in mainstream films as a greater danger than porn since the mass media pose real life. So you see here there are two different viewpoints in regards to this conversation about the adult industry and this type of adult content. Now, I wanted to go further and to talk about some of the important legal issues and regulation. Now, you remember, why is this important? Because we know that this decentralized form used through Porn Rocket is going to help, as they're going to be working with regulatory bodies to make sure that they are doing things in compliance. Where right now we got no cohesion and no cohesive uniform way of regulating that in the current industry. Whether you like it or not, it exists. And because it exists and the regulations are opposed to the existence of it, then they have to make sure that what they're doing is going to be in alignment with the law. And I believe that this decentralization is a step toward that. Now, going through that, let's take a look at this. There are some game-changing things happening in the legal field that you should know about. One, about Pornhub. And this article reads, Pornhub profits from rape, child pornography, and sex trafficking Dozens of women alleged in a lawsuit. And this was on June 18, 2021 by Marissa Latty. And I'm going to go into this and also other legal issues regarding this. What we have here in this article, it says nearly 3 dozen women sued Pornhub on Thursday, alleging that the firm operates as a classic criminal enterprise that profits from content showing rape, child pornography, sex trafficking, and other non-consensual activity. The lawsuit claimed that Pornhub and its parent company, MindGeek, allowed any type of pornography to be published and incentivized people to watch more of it. Executives understand that users were posting non consensual sexual content and knowingly chose to monetize it. According to the lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California, they stated the case is not about consensual porn or negligence. Michael Bowie, an attorney for the plaintiff, said in the email, it's about a porn company's intentional election to include in their business model rape and other non-consensual content. Now, remember the names here, Pornhub and MindGeek. We talked about them earlier. Now, it further said, in addition to accusing the firm of letting users post non-consensual content, the lawsuit alleges that MindGeek also bought in bulk content produced by human traffickers and used hundreds of shell corporations to hide the activity and launder the proceeds. Using non-consensual content was the key to MindGeek's business plan. The suit says, re-traumatizing victims. Plaintiffs in the case are human beings victimized first by their original abuser and then repeatedly by defendants in this case, the lawsuit says. Now, how did that affect things? Pornhub has repeatedly found itself in the defensive in recent months. New York Times column by Nicholas Kristof alleged that the platform is infested with rape videos, monetizes child rapes. He argued that although most of Pornhub's 6.8 million videos per year probably depict consensual sex, others show child abuse and non-consensual violence. Pornhub told Times that claims were irresponsible and flagrantly untrue. Now, going through this more, this is what was found. That Pornhub announced it has enhanced its safety features, including letting only verified users post content. But what happened, MasterCard and Visa got involved and investigated on their own. MasterCard paused the use of their credit cards on Pornhub. And then days later, MasterCard said it had completed its investigation of the allegations and severed its ties with the platform. Visa said it would keep banning payments to Pornhub, but would allow payments on MindGeek platforms with professionally produced pornography rather than user-generated content. Thursday lawsuit also named Visa as a defendant and says that company was uniquely suited to stop this exploitation, but chose instead to participate in the profiteering. Visa did not respond to this. This is important, folks. As you can see here, there's a few competing things happening. One, the industry I've shown you, it needs more regulation. These abuses have been filed in federal district court. And what has happened? Visa and MasterCard, the two largest payment mechanisms in the world, have severed their ties with the traditional standing of these markets in this industry. Now, why did this happen? There's a lot of reasons, and I won't go into the details for this video because this is the analysis of the project, but let me sum up what I see here based on the facts that were researched. One, I see an industry that's in dire need of regulation. Regulation of content creators, regulations of the individuals who are allowed to receive content from the site, and I see decentralization as a way to do that. That KYC, know your client, will be something that could be easily integrated into this because that is what regulation for cryptocurrency is going to do anyway. Also, remember, blockchain might be private, but is not untraceable. You're going to have a content on decentralization. You can track these transactions. You're going to have wallets, and you'll be able to see transactions happen on this blockchain with that particular cryptocurrency. That means that will deter a lot of this illegal adult content being uploaded, because those content creators are going to have to be tied to their content in a way unlike any other open source methodology is currently in place. So MasterCard and Visa out the picture, but if they're going to get back in a bandwagon, this cryptocurrency may be very much a bridge into this space as either a band-aid or stop this gushing wound based on what it can provide to the current industry. So let's go a little bit deeper to this project. Is that there are some stories told about how Pornhub is going to be shut down because of trafficking allegations and other lawsuits. And to think about that a little bit further, this is the lines between legal pornography and human trafficking become particularly messy. Several of the world's most popular porn sites have been found to feature illegal content, such as trafficking survivors along with their legal content. An example of this can be seen in a recent campaign launched against Pornhub, arguably the largest porn website in the world. In response to the extensive bank of illegal material hosted on that site, thousands of voices have joined the movement and advocating for the website to be shut down. Types of content Pornhub profits from include cases of human trafficking, rape of a 14-year-old girl, and with over 100 confirmed cases displaying child sexual abuse, according to Internet Watch Foundation investigation. Who can access this? Anyone can upload, download, or access content on Pornhub, requiring only an email. With approximately 42 billion visits annually, Pornhub profits millions each year from this content. My hypothesis for this project, we went through everything. The good, the bad, the practical, the realization, the opposing views, the pro views. You have a great review of this particular project. And now you can do your own research, add this to it. But let me give you my research analysis, my speculation about this project. This is it. I believe that in the next few years, that especially with the upcoming application launch, that since they're in a space that resolves a problem, since they're in a space that is already profitable, since this space already exists, since we've seen the industries are trying to shut down avenues such as Pornhub and MindGeeks, which generate billions of dollars of revenue, the government is making regulations every single day, and those regulations are making it more stricter on these organizations and content creators. That regulation will require that this is done if you're going to create this content in a manner that is going to reduce the chances that individuals are harmed through illegal content. That puts Porn Rocket in line with the opportunity. My speculation is that Porn Rocket and other blockchain projects that are joining in now that work with regulation will be major players in the next few years. And you may find that your investment now, while it is dirt cheap next to nothing, will grow exponentially over the next few years as regulations throughout the world, and especially the United States, become stricter on who can post, who can upload, and how you download that material. This is the point of this blockchain and innovation. And as innovation of any kind, it takes time. When the app releases, I expect an increase in the profit. I expect that to happen. But I expect long-term adoption to be put in place with this particular project. And if that adoption occurs in a way that it looks like it's already leaning, this could really change your life financially. Now, if you want to find out more about this project, I encourage you to look into it. All the information is there for you to add this to your own research. Remember, I'll never tell you how to trade. And if you want to join the Underdog crypto community, remember, you'll see my social media. I want you to take this time to like, share, and subscribe to this information. And at the end, I will show you all the ways in which you can get in contact with me and that you can use research over hype. Thank you for watching this content. I hope you found it helpful, educational, and I hope I did it in a way that's respectful to the industry in which we are in, and that is blockchain and technology. Until next time, this has been your boy, Underdog Crypto.
Yeah, I told you we gon' take you to the top. Can't believe that Mr. Wonder Boy to flop. Yeah, never movie shaky, but I popped. Yeah, X's on my line, wanna chop. Yeah, I see big pictures, yours is cropped. Yeah, vision hella clear at the top. Yeah, busy making moves and I can stop. Yeah, make so many moves, it's not pop. Michael Jackson in the 80s with the pop. Yeah, got to keep it clean, do the mop. Michael Jackson with the hits, I'm gon' pop. Yeah, I told you we gon' take you to the top. I done dozed off. They tryna hit my line, but the phone's off. I ain't Toby, why they tryna cut my toes off? My arms are always open, now I'm closed off. Now I'm talking